Story 1. 24M23F My girlfriend no longer believes in monogamy. My girlfriend recently received an injury at her workplace. She's been given compensation and a few months leave to recover. So far, she's spent her days binge watching TikTok and has begun to follow some creators with unorthodox views. She has recently come to the conclusion that monogamy is the construct of the patriarchy designed to limit women's sexual freedom. My girlfriend has also thrown out ideas that marriage as an institution is a form of slavery for women. Bear in mind that before this she kept pestering me about getting engaged. I was quite confused by all this, so I let her know, "You can have an open relationship, it just won't be with me." To which she began laughing and claiming that my masculinity was threatened at the prospect of her being pleasured by someone else. I asked my mother about all this, and she suggested I reason with my girlfriend, but my GF literally has an answer for everything. She's become some kind of expert in this strange philosophy. I don't want my relationship to end, I just want my girlfriend in her normal mind back. Story 2. I got sober because my cat saved my life. So this may not be as spicy as some posts on here, but I wanted to share. I 26F had a pretty bad problem with alcohol and drugs since my teen years, childhood trauma I won't get into. I would get very drunk very often, even when alone. I was not in a good place mentally, but I lived alone, so I rescued a senior cat and she's my entire world. I've never loved a creature like I love her, and people often commented on how I took better care of her than I did of myself. She's my entire world. Her name is McAlbanian for friend, very fitting. One night I got home very late and very drunk. I hadn't eaten for hours and decided it was the perfect time to make homemade burger and chips. Somehow managed to prep and do everything without hurting myself, put chips in the oven. Feeling rather proud of myself, I grabbed another drink and sat on my couch while it cooked. About 4 hours later, I woke up to Mick on top of me meowing and licking my face. The house was filled with smoke and I, still drunk off my ass, frantically opened all my windows and doors and grabbed the tray of flames. Not knowing what to do, I threw it outside and let it burn on the concrete. My house smelled like burnt Oli chips for a week, and I took Mick to the vets just in case she was fine. After that, I replaced my oven, took a fire safety course, replaced the batteries in my smoke detector, purchased an extinguisher and fire blanket, and finally stopped drinking cold turkey. From the absence of drink, I also decided to quit drugs and even smoking. People in my life have praised me for this, but I haven't told a soul. I almost burned my house down. I do tell them I owe it to me. I'm 1 year sober today and completely clean, got a better job and stable relationship, and I owe it all to Mick. If she hadn't woke me up, I would have died that night. Thanks, Mick. I love you. Story 3. My mill sent a 36-page letter to my sulfur monoxide about how I'm trying to ruin his life and justified her cheetah ex-husband breaking into our apartment to steal our Wi-Fi because of an incriminating piece of paper he found in our bedroom, which is way farther into the house than our router. These people are insane. My mill never liked me and has done all sorts of things to try and undermine my relationship with her son. She has accused me of trying to ruin his career and his life, tried talking him out of marrying me the night before our wedding, and then went into hysterics when confronted. Called us stupid for getting pregnant and continually uses my bad childhood and things said to her in confidence against me. The latest in this garbage saga is her delusional manifesto. My husband messaged me today telling me that my father-in-law had the keys we thought we lost over a year ago and used them to break into our apartment to steal our Wi-Fi last October when we were out of town. He found this out because his mother sent him a 36-page letter about how she's worried about him because I've been actively trying to destroy his life the last few years. I obviously have not, because we are trying to build a life together. After taking 3 pages to butter him up and 27 pages to put me down, she ended by saying, and I'm paraphrasing parts because typing it all out would take too long, "Daddy accessed your flat, October 2022. He said he found keys in his flat, needed Wi-Fi desperately. He found instructions on the wall, written by you, but they were instructions for you, agreed upon with me about how to communicate your needs, rate your online presence as an artist. She then goes on to recognize her ex as being an abusive cheater and then says that he photographed the paper and sent it to her. She refers to this contract as psychological torture and urges my husband to take care of himself and our child by leaving me, but obviously she won't tell him what to do. She's just suggesting leaving or else he's doomed to suffer in my presence. Some points. She knew he broke into our flat and had our stolen keys for months before saying anything about it. He tried stealing our Wi-Fi without us knowing and planned his trip knowing we'd be away. He was horrible to us last time, so we changed the password. He went into our bedroom, which is much further than the router. He knew where the router was because he asked for Wi-Fi before. He took pictures of things in our bedroom and distributed them. The contract was because I was trying to balance doing free website design work, social media, and artwork photography for my husband while also tending to our infant child who I was caring for full time. He was asking me for things randomly and I was having trouble keeping track and felt unappreciated. We agreed that he would deliver requests in writing and that once a month we'd have a business date where we would discuss what was done and plan for the next month. Outside of that, it would have to be an emergency if he wanted to throw more work at me. It worked and got us through the really rough first year. I'm just so sick of how they've been acting. It causes so much stress and I'm already in C. Husband sent one letter to his mom to say he's okay and left me out of it to deprive her of ammo, and she sent this letter in return. She's also tried damaging my reputation in the small town where we live, spreading rumors and going so far as calling our family doctor to say that I'm destroying my husband's health. Their holiday flat is one floor down from ours and I don't feel safe here anymore. We're going to ask our landlord to change the locks, but I just want to be done with these awful people for good. Story 4. My GFF24 wants to set boundaries that M24 feel are unreasonable. First off, some context. My friend M24 and I M24 work in the same area, but different companies. This leads to us spotting each other from time to time. The most common way one of us gets spotted is while on a street that can be seen from the other's office window. Anyway, the first time I spotted my friend through the window, I took a picture of him and sent to our friend group's Snapchat group. This started a tradition of us sending a snap of the other every time we see them in the wild. With that out of the way, this is the situation. Yesterday, me and my colleague F25, let's call her J, had lunch at a lunch cafe near our office. Our team 6 people go to this cafe every Wednesday. It's become a tradition. However, yesterday we were the only ones at the office, combination of remote work, sickness, and meetings, so we were the only ones at the cafe. My friend happened to walk by, saw us through the window, and sent a snap to our group. When I came home, my GFF24 immediately asked who the girl in the picture was. She sounded upset. I told her it was Jay from work and that we were out for lunch. I also told her that we usually go this place on Wednesdays with the entire team, but this day it just happened to be only me and Jay at the office. My GF thought it through and basically told me, "Okay, I trust you. But in the future, could you refrain from going out for lunch if it's only you and a female colleague?" This is somewhat paraphrased. I was a bit taken aback by this. My GF has never before shown jealousy in this way. I guess she hasn't really needed to. Just to make sure, I asked her why and she told me it's just weird, you know. To which I said that I don't know. I don't think it's weird. To me, it's more weird that she thinks it's weird. I asked her if she would mind if I had lunch alone with my other colleague M22. No, that's okay. It's not the same. I then asked her if she was okay with me grabbing lunch with my childhood friend F24. Of course, she has a boyfriend and you've known her for ages. This made me feel even more conflicted as she acknowledges that I can hang out alone with a woman with it being non-romantic, yet she doesn't want me to do that with my childhood friend being the exception. After discussing this for about an hour, I just told her I won't avoid hanging out with someone just because she's a woman, and I think expecting that from me is unreasonable. Again, somewhat paraphrased. This made her angry. She more or less told me that it's one, not unreasonable, it's just common sense, and to that me not respecting her boundaries tells her that I don't respect her enough to show basic human decency. We ended up agreeing to disagree and discuss this again at a later point, then went on to order takeaway and watch Netflix for the rest of the day. For extra context, we've been together for almost 4 years, we live together, and she has never shown any signs of jealousy before at all. While I am curious what others think about the subject matter hanging out one-on-one with some of the opposite gender, this is not an Am I the Jerk post, and that is not why I'm writing this. What I want advice on is how to handle a situation like this. I want to respect my GS boundaries, but in this case I just don't think it's reasonable, but I don't know how to argue that without coming off as disrespectful or selfish. Story 5. I just celebrated my first Valentine's Day with my boyfriend, and I want to break up with him. I just celebrated my first Valentine's Day with my boyfriend of 8 months. I was very excited leading up to it because I'm 25 and never had a boyfriend to celebrate Valentine's Day, but now I want to break up with him. I'm a big romantic girly girl. I like romance movies, love poems, public displays of affection, nothing graphic, just stuff like holding hands and kisses on the cheek, romantic dinners, and affirming words. Red roses are my favorite flower. All I wanted was a bouquet like the ones my dad gets my mom every year. My boyfriend knows this, but if he doesn't like or care about something, then he thinks nobody else shouldn't either. If I try to hold his hand or kiss his cheek, he pulls away and tells me to wait until we get home. I can count the number of times he's called me beautiful on one hand. He likes to act like a jerk because he thinks my reactions are funny. He got me some daisies and made a big stink about never getting me flowers again because he thinks they're stupid. He got me dark chocolate bars, and I don't like dark chocolate. One of them had a love poem printed inside the wrapper. I thought it was sweet until he said he regretted buying that one. We watched TV for a few hours instead of having sex, but I'm honestly fine with that because he's terrible in bed. His idea of foreplay is squeezing my boobs so hard that I think they'll bruise. And if that wasn't enough, he still hasn't told his family about me. We've been exclusive for 8 months. He has met my parents, and all his family know is that he's talking to some girl. I found out because he invited me to bring his parents groceries but told me to stay in the car. He didn't want his parents to see me, but sure enough, they saw me sitting in the front seat because they're not idiots. But I guess I am for staying with him for so long. He couldn't stop being a belligerent asshole for one day. I can't do this anymore. If he doesn't want anyone to know we're dating, then I guess we don't need to be dating. I'm done.